Gun fam, what's up? It's the Gun Brother. Thank you for tuning in to Guns and Beer. Today I want to introduce you to Judge Robert Van Dyke. If you don't know who he is, you need to. And I want to break this down on a couple of different levels for everybody in the 2A community to understand what is going on and how they do these things. Let's just get into it. All right, so today's brew. Taking it out west with Monkish Flip Fly Flows. Double IPA going down. So let's just get into it. My favorite Doom glass. Rest in peace, MF Doom. Just chilling today. So the topic we're talking about is California. And a case that's going down. I don't want to get too in the weeds of the legality and all of that stuff. That's usually, it's a bunch of other channels that do that. But I want to talk about it so you understand it in basic terms and what it means so that you can understand what's going on and how these things go down. Because I didn't have a good understanding of it myself, not the legal side of it. And I just recently started getting into it 2 or 3 years ago. So cheers, let's talk about it. Fire as always. Okay, so the reason I'm so excited about this is because the judge actually took the time to do this video, and part of it was probably because of his own frustration. So they're arguing about this case. They're talking about what would be considered an arm and what would be considered an accessory. And if something is not considered an arm, it's not protected by the 2A. And if it's considered an accessory, it can be banned. That's basically where they are in a nutshell. In asking his questions, Judge Van Dyke is basically showing that the people that are talking about banning stuff and how to ban stuff and what proposed tests we should use to determine if something should be banned, and of course, we should be starting from shall not be infringed, but we're not. But the people that are making these arguments do not know what they're arguing about. They know what they want to do, ban guns. That's what they want to do. But the way they're talking, they're trying to ban something that they don't even have a fundamental understanding of. So that is why he made the video. So first off, I'm just gonna play this first clip for you so you understand where this guy was going back and forth with the judge and just kind of not even knowing what he was talking about. So here we go.
Are you saying that yes, so it would be an arm under, you're not conceding that it would be an arm under stage 1. So why are you saying it wouldn't be an arm, but the semi-automatic versus revolver, say, distinction is something that we're stuck with? I mean, you would agree that you can't ban the automatic mechanism.
Well, an automatic mechanism, I think that you can ban. I think the Supreme Court has recognized
No, the automatic mechanism is a term that semi-autos and full autos use an automatic mechanism.
Sure, Your Honor. I'm sorry for the confusion. No, I don't think that we could ban all semi-automatic weapons. I think Heller makes that clear. The point I was just making is with respect to accessories, I think we have a difference of opinion where my friend suggests any accessory that is somehow helpful to armed self-defense.
So that's important because your argument turns on whether you can characterize accessory. So you would say that the revolver versus semi-automatic is not an accessory, but that a magazine is its accessory. So what would you think about like a red dot sight, electro-optics, which many firearms are going to electronic optics nowadays. They're obviously an accessory because you could have iron sights. Could you ban those?
Well, so Your Honor, I'm not intimately familiar with that, and I do want to answer this question and make sure that I save time for rebuttal. I think that the question at the outset would be, is that, if it's an accessory, is it within the Teixeira principle that it's necessary to the realization of the right to self-defense? And you'd have to build a record.
So basically, like I said, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking in circles. He's not intimately familiar, and that's a very basic question. If you're considering a magazine an accessory, would it be an accessory like a red dot? It's pretty basic, considering you're arguing about banning things. Maybe the lay person doesn't know what a red dot is or wouldn't understand it. But if you're in this situation arguing about what you're arguing for, which is to be able to ban things and propose this set of, I think what they're doing is proposing a set of basically litmus tests to say this is this, and this can be banned and this can't be banned, blah, blah, blah. I think that's the basics of it. And if you're in that position and that's what you're arguing about, and you don't know a basic addition to a firearm, and that's insane. So that is what we're dealing with. That's what Pro 2A, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that want to ban things that have no idea about what they want to ban. They just want to ban it. And that's proof of it. So this line of questioning drove the judge to basically say, they have no idea what they're talking about, and it'd be easier for me to just make a video of it and show you what I'm talking about. So he dissented. I think this got approved, so this is what California is going to use. And the reason that's important to us, to anybody, 2A everywhere, is because once these things get put in place, they said, I don't know if the legal term is correct of setting precedent, but it gets set, and then other states try to copycat it. Maryland and DC have been known to use other states like California and Massachusetts. DC used Maryland and I think Massachusetts to model their gun laws. So when things like this get put in place, it can be a domino effect in a negative way. So that is just a proof to you. Like I said, if you don't follow this side of it, you hear people say catchphrases like they're banning stuff, they don't know what they're talking about. That's proof of it. That is what goes on in these hearings. People are talking about things that they don't necessarily know about, or I don't think know enough about to be saying that they should be banned. So, like I said, the judge goes on to make the video, and then just checking out a quick clip of that. So let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Judge Van Dyke, and welcome to my chambers. I'm making this video as part of my opinion in the Dunk v. Bonta case. In this case, the state of California made the argument, which the majority has now accepted, that a magazine holding more than 10 rounds is just an accessory, not an arm protected by the Second Amendment's right of the people to keep and bear arms. I think anyone with a basic familiarity with firearms could show you that this attempted distinction is simply inconsistent with reality. I alluded to this during oral argument when I asked California's counsel about the balance of the tests that are proposed for what qualifies as an arm protected by the Second Amendment. Let's go to that exchange now.
So that's what we watched earlier, and then just going a little further into the video. Here we go, check this out.
And shoot more quickly. Now, so in that sense, this red dot optic is just like this magazine. It makes the firearm more dangerous when it's misused, but it also makes the firearm work better for its intended purpose when it's used properly. Well, you may think that's pretty intuitive about the sighting system for a firearm, but the same thing is true about basically every part of this gun. Let's take a look at a part that's maybe a little less intuitive, which is that takedown lever that I talked about earlier. This little piece here is necessary for the operation of the firearm. It's a tiny little piece that you need to have for the firearm. And so you would think, well, since it's necessary, then it must be an arm protected by the Second Amendment. But not under California's logic in this case. See, you can replace this factory takedown lever with a different factory takedown lever. This one's called a gas pedal. And when you do that, you replace it, you put the slide back on. Now the firearm is a lot more controllable under recoil. You can, just like with the red dot sight, you can do faster follow-up shots. You can aim the gun more quickly, and you can control it better. So again, as with the red dot sight, as with the higher capacity magazine, this particular takedown lever makes the gun more dangerous when it's misused, but also makes the gun more effective for its intended purpose when it's used properly. So under California's logic, because this is an accessory, this little takedown lever, it could be replaced with a worse part. This little takedown lever is not protected. It's not part of the arm protected by the Second Amendment.
Do you see what they're trying to do? They're basically saying any part, the new test basically says, any part that can be replaced to make the gun more dangerous is an accessory. therefore not protected by, and I hope I'm saying it correctly, but therefore not protected by the 2A. If you can say it about a magazine, his argument is the test is flawed because the magazine is essential to the firearms operation, therefore it's not an accessory, it's protected with the rest of the arm, just like the takedown lever. Under the new test, he's basically saying, no, you're saying everything's an accessory, therefore everything can be banned. That's where we are. That's what we fight, and that's what we're going through. If that gets approved, it can affect other states as well. So I encourage you to go watch the video, just hear him out and see how he lays it out, his dissent and why this test does not work. Then my only message after that is, please join a 2A advocate group. Pay your dues, because they are the people that fight these battles. They're our front line that defends us against this stuff when they get challenged, when they get taken to court and things like that. My recommendation, as always, join a local and join a national. One big organization and one that's closer to your rights. The dues aren't very expensive, but when you're fighting for your freedoms, it's very important. In any case, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Especially if you live in a state where you're going through laws like this, especially if you're in California. We go through it here in Maryland, Massachusetts. I know you guys are really going through it. New York as well. Put it down in the comments. We'll talk about it. And as always, Gun Brothers out. I'll talk to you guys next time.